We are live.
Hello, everyone. We'll kind of give a little bit of time for people to join in, so we might end up repeating ourselves. But we're going to start off by just saying, like, especially with the full moon that just passed, I know everybody's feeling like the veil is thin and energy is just kind of crazy. So we're going to be charming jewelry for protection purposes. So we have a couple of our own personal jewelry items that we wear that we brought to charm for ourselves. We also grabbed some of the jewelry that we sell in the store to charm that. And if you feel so inclined and end up wanting one that is already spelled for protection, just let us know. But that is kind of what is on the docket for today.
And I will put these on the website, so find them later tonight.
Yes. Looks like we got somebody on TikTok.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Again, this is Emily and Venus. We're here with Goddess
to meet you
Elite.
guys.
Hello. We are going to be doing some protection magic today. So we're going to spell the jewelry and everything, explain how we do it. But then we also are just going to kind of talk about some of our own personal protection things that we do while the spell is cooking. So,
To begin this off, I think I will start off with some protection spray.
yeah.
So this is our Aunt Jackie's Ultimate Fiery Wall of Protection spray. The two of us are real big Aunt Jackie people.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I love this spray. You can spray it on yourself, as you saw I just did. You can also spray it in the room. I personally like to spray it in my car. It's currently my thing, but
it smells so good too. Like, obviously
delicious.
you can't smell it right now, but I'm telling
come
you,
in store
it
and
smells
find us.
good. And then we also have, because like Aunt Jackie's, she makes everything where they kind of go together. So like we have the spray, but then we also have the Aunt Jackie's Fiery Wall of Protection oil, as well as a candle, which we don't have here, but you can use it. So.
Okay, so since we did introduce the Aunt Jackie's, I will introduce you guys to the different protection candles that we do have. Of course, you know, as we mentioned, Aunt Jackie does have her own candle. We currently have that one. I think,
yeah, we didn't bring it in the room. Yeah, but
we have this frankincense protection candle. This one is blue. Normally when people think color magic and they think protection, they definitely put black. So majority of our protection candles will be black. This is the Blessed Herbal Affirmations. This is a guardian protector. I personally really enjoy these candles only because they have these little like sayings on it. So this one says, Guardian Protector, I am in need of you. Clear away the interference of others, be they in body or spirit, and strengthen my personal fortress of protection. I am safe and comforted in your presence. For those of you who know me, affirmations are like a huge thing for me. I use them in every single spell that I do. And you'll definitely see me use them in the enchanting of my drawer today. But this is such a cute candle. And there is also a bigger version. This one is also by Blessed Herbs Original. But this one says, I call on the greater powers that be to shield and protect me. This I ask and feel the need. Please bring this protection with all speed. Guard me against all harmful energies so that my worries may be set free. I call on in perfect trust and love, sending me security from above. Harm to none, and helping all is how it shall be. This I make true, 3 times 3 times 3. So this is our protection candle. This one is a guardian protection candle. So for those of you who wish to call upon your ancestors, your spirit guides, your guardian angels, your deities, whoever you believe in, your angels, your demons, whoever you work with, this is a good candle to call them in when you need protection, as this is just a general protection candle that I would burn while I was doing a spell work or anything.
Yeah, and I know me and Melissa have mentioned before, like, how long those actually burn, and they smell fantastic. So really like those. They're also scented to go along with the intention as well. So that just adds on to it. The Aunt Jackie's Fiery Wall of Protection candle, in case you do come in store to look for it, that one is actually orange to go along with the Fiery Wall concept, obviously. But as Ash mentioned, and you can see here, as we have them burning, black is typically what I go with. For candle color for protection, and also crystal color. So pretty much any black crystal is going to be used for protection. And it's so funny because a lot of the time, like before you get into magic, you think white, because white's supposed to be like, purity and cleansing. And a lot of the time people think of like the color black as something darker, but I pretty much only wear black, first of all, and then use like black candles and crystals in all my magic. Very grounding, very protective. It's also important to add that since they're the black crystals and they're grounding, they keep you in your body. They keep your energy like close to you. And that also adds to that protective layer because you're less vulnerable to the energies of others.
That is true. So we do have some of our black layered crystals. This is our shungite heart. For those of you guys who have seen my live stream, you guys know hearts and love is my thing. So I'm obsessed with the idea of little hearts and crystal shapes. We do have a black eye. It's just a little evil eye. We have a shungite palm stone. We have a obsidian round. These are just quick palm stones that you can hold in your hand. I like to hold them for grounding purposes when I'm meditating and I need to feel more in line with myself. I like to keep these in my hands. As you guys personally know, since I did mention I love my hearts, I keep my hearts here and I keep them in my hands. These are bigger than our cages, so I don't normally keep them, but I do like to keep them in my bag or in my car. We do not have the tiger's eye version with us today, but I personally keep tiger's eye for protection in my car. Shungite I use for more grounding, but I definitely am a big black tourmaline or an onyx or a jet fan for like protection on the go.
Yeah, black tourmaline tends to be my favorite, and that's something definitely worth mentioning too, is that what we might think is our favorite might be totally different for you. It's really important for you to like find what fits with you and what resonates with you. Like I love black tourmaline. My coworker Eileen cannot stand it. It just really depends on who you are, and that's why it's important to kind of come in the store, feel them all, pick them up, see what you think. But we do also have that online shop. Hello, Star. Max, I see you. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining.
And someone on TikTok asked if we're doing personal protection. We are not doing personal protection today. We are teaching you guys how to enchant and put protection on your jewelry and the things that you wear. But if personal protection is something that you guys are interested in, please let us know and we will totally make a live on it for you guys.
All right.
So now that we've given you guys, a little introduction of the protection things that we have, we are burning our protection incense. It smells really good.
Yes.
Other incense that you can burn for protection are cloves, bayberry.
Yeah, frankincense and myrrh. Yeah, all of those are great. But also just like smoke in general is protective if you put that intention behind it. So as long, like sometimes going with the scent that you either associate with ancestors or you feel very comforted by and makes you feel safe, adds that same exact level. It really is up to your own personal preference.
That is true.
Yeah.
So today, as we told you, guys will be teaching you guys how to enchant your jewelry. We have different jewelries with us. Some are our personal jewelries. Today I will be enchanting my necklaces. This is a black tourmaline and amethyst necklace. I keep it on every day for those of you who have seen it. This is my lucky necklace. So black tourmaline is, of course, for protection and grounding, keeping negative energies away. And amethyst, I have charged with the intention to help calm my energies and to help black tourmaline when it's protection for me against stress and from evil eye and negative intentions like that. I will also be enchanting my moonstone ring. I got it from Goddess Elite, so if you guys do have interest, we do have more of these. And I will also be enchanting my labradorite, because that is a stone of transformation, and for those of you who know, those transformation stones, they do not play.
And then for me, I will be enchanting, it's kind of hard to see, my little amber ring here. So I did get that from Goddess Elite. Amber is one of my favorite crystals, so very traditionally used for protection. And also connecting with your ancestors. So for those who don't know, amber is basically like fossilized tree sap that washes up in the ocean. It's very, very old. If you're lucky, you can find a piece with a cool little bug or something in there. But that just speaks to me of like the test of time, going back, connecting with your roots, connecting with your ancestors, and then just like that inherent power that connects all of us. So that for me feels very protective, and also is calling my ancestors in to help protect me.
And as we mentioned, we will be enchanting some jewelry that we do sell at the store. So this is our labradorite ring. It is this is our large one. This is $60. We will also be enchanting our onyx leaf ring. This one is a size 10. It is $70 as well. This onyx drop ring is a size 8. It is $50. And this, I believe this is a black onyx. It is a size 5 for people with small fingers like I do.
And me.
Um,
Also, too, to add, we might have, first of all, other rings that are great for protection and
Of
other
course.
rings that are this size. So, like, if you did want us to kind of just add a little bit of energy into there before you purchase,
you can
just let
always
us know. But to start off, I'm going to say just my own personal little prayer that I say, calling out to my ancestors and guides, just to bless the space. So I say this before I do really any spell working or readings in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I just say I call on my ancestors whose blood runs through my veins. I call on my guides whose wisdom resides within my spirit. Keep me from harm. Protect both my physical and spiritual body. Illuminate the path that leads to the highest good of all concerned. So I say that every time.
I think that's so
Yeah,
sweet.
thank you.
Kinda similar to mine.
Yeah.
So mine is I call upon all my benevolent ancestors, spirit guides, deities, guardian angels, anyone who wishes to see me happy, wealthy, happy, and successful, and see my happy ending. I call upon your assistance and ask for your guidance as I go through this spell work or whatever it is that I may do. I do also use this prayer when I'm doing shadow work. Or
Yeah.
when I'm doing
You be praying when you're
Yeah.
doing shadow work.
I asked for my assistance.
But and it is like, I think it's cool to write your own. Of course, like it's awesome to look at spells from books and stuff like that. But when it comes to like calling in your ancestors, your guides, having your own specific thing that you say every single time, first of all, lets you know, okay, it's time to do some work. And it lets them know, like, hey, I need you right now. That is going to be your line of communication that you're opening up. So we kind of just called all of our people in. Also, just going to call in the spirit in general, Mother Earth, Father Sky, and just kind of helping us with all of this. So to start, I'm going to burn a couple bay leaves. So bay leaves are perfect for protection. Typically, you would probably draw like a sigil on this or write protection on it, something like that. We didn't, but honestly, the herb itself is going to do it just fine. So sometimes they go out and stuff. That's totally fine too. Want to be really clear, we're using a fireproof container.
This is a copper bowl that we are burning our things
Yes,
in.
on a
Please
metal tray.
do not burn things and set your house on fire.
Yes, so we are very always talking about safety here because we want to make sure there's no point doing protection magic if you're not going to protect yourself, okay? So we burn that.
Okay, when you start protection, you always, of course, want to make a circle or some form of protection. Obviously, since this is a protection spell, we have plenty of different forms of protection. But when I do any kind of spell, it does not matter what kind of spell I may be doing, especially if I'm doing love magic, you'll definitely see this. This is black salt. Black salt salt is in general a protective herb, but black salt I have infused with a protection for protection in general.
I like to just drip wax in there every once in a while, but
So
there's
I
no
would
real
be
reason.
fully understandable. I like to decorate my other candles with the wax drippings of different colors.
Exactly.
To use color magic.
Just
So.
because.
So as you can see, I placed the black salt in the bottom of our bowl. You can also use rice. For those of you who have been in our store, we do have a protection rice, which was created by one of our healers. It's a mixture.
Lucinda, just giving her a shout
Just
out.
give her a little shout out.
Lucinda,
She
she's
also
great.
makes love and prosperity rice. For those of you guys who have seen my live streams, I use all of her rice. I use all of her protection for my circles. I use her love soil rice, and I use her money magic rice. So if that interests you, please find your way to our store. You can find them in the back by our herbs.
This incense is so like perfectly in front of my face. It's
That
so
means
funny.
that
I
energies
must
are-
really need
are-
it. I
are
guess. Huh?
great. Mm-hmm.
But the other thing too, like pretty much all of the herbs that we're talking about today, you
Are
can find
protection
in store. They're for protection. Come get them.
Actually, all items we will be using today are
Yeah.
sold in stores.
Yeah.
So if it does interest you guys, please leave a comment. If you guys have any specific herbs or things that you're looking for that you can't find on the website, please comment it on our social medias. Since that is my job, I will get to it immediately. So I personally, as for those of you guys who do not know, I am a chaos magic witch. I introduce myself as a love, prosperity, and manifestation witch for those of you guys who have seen my other live streams. But me personally, I always start with protection. That is the basics. If you are a beginner witch, I will hound you about your protection
Mhm.
magic because I think protection magic is the strongest magic that you can
Yes.
perfect. But I personally like eucalyptus. It is a protection and healing herb. For those of you guys who like to take hot, steamy showers, you can buy live eucalyptus and you can roll it and put it over your showers to give you a protective steaming bath when you take a hot shower.
Or even like with the dried herbs, putting it in like what some people do is like a coffee filter or like a tea bag. I also, like Ash, am obsessed with protection magic to the point that like my coworkers actually wonder like what's wrong with me because I'm constantly buying that stuff. In that case, like if we're gonna get into shadow work and stuff like that, if you typically feel yourself like continuously needing to do protection work, take a look at, first of all, who you're allowing into your life and why you feel the need to do that consistently, and then also why you don't feel safe. The biggest part about protection magic is having faith in your own power. If you don't trust that you have the ability to protect yourself, then how is it going to work? So the intention and belief is really important there.
And
seeing what you added. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
added eucalyptus,
Okay.
but I will leave the next herb
Okay.
to your choice. I also think it is really important that you understand you do not need all of these herbs. I am a college student, so as you know, there are requirements. You're not allowed to have candles on the dorm, not allowed to do certain things. If college, dorm, or school magic does interest you, please let me know, and I would love to make a live stream on it. But herbs, you're not allowed to have a lot of things, so I try to keep things simple. I will be introducing some chips to our things, and I have a couple herbs, you have a couple herbs. You do not need to use all the herbs that we're doing. As long as you infuse your herbs with your intention, even if it's just one singular herb, it will do what you need to get done.
We just happen to have access to them because we're in a witchcraft store. And, I have an issue. So, yeah, I have them all at home because I have a problem. But the thing is, like, one of the herbs we're using is rosemary. Like, everybody has rosemary. Everybody has something that you can use. Even just salt. It doesn't even have to be black salt.
Actually, we'll use this rosemary.
Good.
I have a couple things for it. So, rosemary, of course, as we just mentioned, is a nice protective herb. However, for those of you who do not wish to enchant your jewelry, rosemary water and rosemary oil are really good for hair growth. Mm-hmm. I infuse my rosemary water and my rosemary oil, as you can see I have curly hair, with the intention to protect me. So when I wash my hair or when I put it through my hair, I place it with the intention of protection, and that is another form of enchantment that you can do as a daily thing. So when I'm not wearing my jewelry, I always have a layer of protection in my veil because it is in my hair.
The other thing too with rosemary, just since you mentioned like college and stuff, great for memory and studying. That is the perfect herb to have on you when you're studying so you can retain the information.
It's also a really good herb to burn. You cannot burn it inside your college campus, but for those of you who are at home and who wish to have a little bit of focus or a bit of protection, you can burn rosemary in your burning safe container. Be safe about it, please.
We're not liable. So the herb that I'm going to use here. Oh, did someone comment? We can
okay, Lori, if you have interest in it, I would love to do a live for B1 the Broom Closet and for B1 College because I love doing little broom witchcraft.
Yeah, definitely did that for a while. The first 2 years, we're together 10 years now, but of my relationship, which I had no reason to hide it, but I just kept it private for a while. He had no idea. So we could talk about the broom closet and stuff too. It's so nice to see you, Lori. Thanks for coming in.
That's such a good idea. Maybe that's what we'll do.
Yeah, that is a really good idea. And we could even talk about making a mini to-go altar and stuff. Yeah, good idea.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Lori says don't set yourself on fire.
Yes. I am going to add some hyssop. Hyssop is really one of the best herbs just for purification in general. Also curse breaking, stuff like that. You feel like you got some negative crap on you, take a bath with this stuff. Dress your candle with it, whatever it is you want to do. Right now, enchant some jewelry with it. So we're going to stuff that in there.
Speaking of dressing candles, another great thing that you guys can do for protection, as I mentioned earlier with these protection candles, is burn a candle of protection. You can dress these candles with your herbs. These oils that we mentioned earlier, now that I finally have a nice segue to introduce them to you, are great for dressing your candle and then rolling them in the herbs. That's how I do this. So all of my protection candles, including these little black miniature ones that we sell, I dress in protection herbs, and then I roll them in the herbs that we're using today. So this is our blessed herbal oils of protection. It goes with these two candles that I showed you earlier. As we mentioned earlier, Aunt Jackie does have a set of protection. So this is her Fiery Wall of Protection oil. It goes with the spray and the candle that goes with it. It is really orange themed. And then we also have the Motor City Hoodoo Fiery Wall of Protection. Hoodoo is a close practice. So take with that what you will. It does not mean that, you can't use Fire Wall of Protection or oils like that. But this is a definite hoodoo sponsored kind of oil.
Yeah, and I think I would have to double check this, but I think this may have been what Aunt Jackie
used to be?
Or yeah, I think so. Melissa will probably correct me, will tell me I'm right on that, I think, if she's listening. But that probably was to maybe make it a little bit more
open
for everybody, because people want to be respectful about it. Either way, both of those oils work exactly the same.
Yeah.
I personally just have used the Aunt Jackie's ones, but I also just like the bottle more, which I know is not a real reason to like.
No,
it's
actually really
it's really cute. Do you actually want to talk about the cinque foil, and I'll talk about the cloves if you don't mind, because I'm just more better.
Okay, so
suited with this
the coil is 5-finger grass. So as I mentioned earlier, hoodoo has specific kind of things. This is an oil. This is an herb that I learned about while researching hoodoo. But to my knowledge, this is not a closed practice herbs. There are a multitude of practices that do use this herb, so please do not feel like you cannot use this herb if you don't practice hoodoo or voodoo, things like that. This is just an herb that is where I learned about it, and it is a part of my culture, and that is why we use it. But this is a protection herb. It is also a really good money herb. For those of you guys who want to do your little money spells, your prosperity spells, is a great herb for that. It's also a good sleep herb. Make it in some sleep tea, and it helps induce psychic dreams. So I just will add a little spoon, just a little spoonful. I personally, I think this herb it clumps together really easily. So I don't really personally use it to dress candles.
Yeah,
it
doesn't burn great.
Yeah, it doesn't burn amazingly. But I do use it for enchanting things and for my money bowls. For those of you guys who like them, this is the herb for your money bowls.
Yeah, I use that really for like anything like quick too, because I think of 5 fingers. I think of somebody helping and you getting something. So for success magic, and especially when you need it quick, not like 6 months from now. Like I need a helping hand right now.
A money draw.
Yes. So that is a great one. So cloves are my personal favorite herb for protection.
Mine too.
Yeah, they smell so good. Then I also make like a protection spray with them, stuff like that. So
I use cloves in my tea. Actually, I put 2 cloves. So when I make my tea and I make my loose leaf, I use a coffee press. Because personally, I don't drink a lot of coffee, but I am in campus, so I make my tea and I use a coffee press for my loose herbs, so it will help me straighten it out. So if you guys are looking for something to make tea with, a coffee press is an amazing idea to make you tea with, and it will make you a big batch instead of you having to use like 2 tea bags or strainers or things like that. But cloves are also really good to put in your candles. I like to push my cloves in my candles, or I like to put them in my little salt circle that I make before I start my spells.
It also looks really cute. Like they look cute, they smell good. If you've ever used, I think this is right, but if you've ever used Lachelle's Florida Water soap, the cloves are in there.
And
her stuff's awesome in
general. Cloves have really good medicinal purposes. When I have a toothache, I will chew on a clove. It is a nice painkiller for your teeth.
Yeah, people use they make salves and stuff out of it. So all around, just really great herb to have on hand, but especially when it comes to the protection stuff. So I think that is all of the herbs that we were going to talk about. I'm going to torch another bay leaf real quick and put it in on top, because why not?
As we are
I like how it crackles like that.
The different kinds of protection. We do have protection roll-on oils that you can bring with you in your bag in case you don't have jewelry or in case you're going someplace where you just need a little something. We have a protection oil roll-on. It is Reiki charged, and then we also have an evil eye roll-on to protect you from the evil eyes. For those of you who do not know, evil eyes are these cute little things. If you guys look on the website, sometimes you will see my bracelets and the pictures that are shown, because I'm a big evil eye girly. It helps protect you from views of jealousy or different, it doesn't necessarily have to be jealousy, but the negative views and intentions of other people on you, that is definitely what that is for.
And they might not even, like, the important distinction between the evil eye and then just protection in general.
Mm-hmm.
Protection in general is protecting your spirit, is protecting you, like, energetically, but also protecting you from harm, if you want to add that one in there.
Mm-hmm.
With the evil eye, that's really just protecting you from, like, negative intentions of others. They don't even have to actually be doing work against you. So I want to be really clear on that. They could just be saying, oh, I hope she fails. I hope this happens to her. They're putting that out there.
And sometimes you can accidentally give someone the evil eye.
That's true, too.
Sometimes, I personally believe in the saying that the first thought that you have is what you've been conditioned to think, and the second thought that you have is what you personally think. So you can accidentally give people the evil eye just because that's just how you're raised. Oh, someone you saw, they don't look right or something, or you don't like the way that is. That can give you the unintentional evil eye, but it is also the energy that you project to that person. So I believe since we are finished with our herbs, I am going to add black tourmaline chips. We do have hematite chips. These are really good for grounding. I use hematite for grounding more than obviously it's a protection stone, but I use it more for my grounding, and I like to use black tourmaline more for my protection.
Yeah, as you said, it's different for everybody, but I kind of go along
personal
that same,
beliefs.
that same vein.
But I will be adding some of these black tourmaline chips to infuse our jewelry with protection from negative energy, protection from negative spiritual energy, and to cleanse any negative energy that our jewelry may be withholding, because of course, as you know, you're supposed to clean your crystals as they come, unless you have selenite or citrine or crystals that do cleanse other crystals, but I personally don't have any of that on me, so I will be cleansing each of these crystals before I put them into our little jar.
Yeah, so first this candle is burning so much faster than the other one. That's so funny. And like dripping, and that one's not. Sorry, anyway. I guess that's a good segue for this little tip, though. While you're doing protection magic, or really any type of magic, pay attention to the way your candles are burning. Pay attention to the shapes that are made with wax.
And your smoke.
Yeah, pretty much all of it. Really, it all is some form of, like, divination. So that kind of can give you an idea of, first of all, how badly you needed it. Because clearly, the fact that this is, like, really right on me, I'm like, Or is it just, maybe
and
we're
it's
amplifying
so
it.
funny that you say that, because you guys can't see it, but this black candle on my side
is the one that's like
a ton of wax drippings, which means that maybe protection is something that I
the
definitely
mind.
needed to do compared to Emily's, which has nothing.
That's funny.
I know, that's so great.
Well, I'll start with cleansing my ring and sticking it in there, right? So this is that amber ring. Again, we do have this available in store. Just really letting the smoke get on it, and with that intention of any energy that it might have held onto, whether it's my own or somebody else's, it's going to be cleansed of that. We're just going to have it be a blank slate. And then while I put it in here, I'm acknowledging that as it sits in these protective herbs, it is putting that protection energy into this piece of jewelry. So
and I did get this copper bowl for a reason. So copper, for those of you guys who do not know, is a conduit. Is that the
you're saying that
yes,
right.
Okay. And I like copper when I'm trying to infuse things in energy because it's a conduit. It brings that energy into you. So I personally, I prefer the elements. So smoke is obviously air and a little bit of fire, since you did have to light it to cleanse your crystal. When I am at home and I do not have incense lit, I also do it in the flame.
I'll do mine.
I am a fire sign. I will put all of these crystals in the flame because I like fire energy. I think the passion, I like the strength behind it. And I think when I cleanse my crystals in fire before I put them in protection, it puts strength behind my intention. So as I cleanse these crystals, I cleanse them with the intention to put protection, both emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of that, as I put them in each of my little bowls. And then of course, crystals have their own, how would I describe it? Each crystal has their own separate properties that go with them. A lot of them correspond, but sometimes they don't always. This is my labradorite ring. I got it because, as you guys know, there are currently 5 planets in retrograde right now, and I think by the end of the month there will be 7.
Yep.
Venus is in retrograde right now. I'm a Taurus Venus. It is my home planet, but it is definitely kicking my behind this retrograde. And so I got labradorite as a stone of transformation. Moonstone is also a good stone for transformations. and I will cleanse and infuse both of these stones with the intention to help protect me as I go through this transitional journey. Things are changing. School's going to be back in session for those of you guys who are going back to school or classes, or if you have kids and they're going back to school.
Oh, gosh.
It's a form of transition. Things are changing. It's the fall season. It's spooky girl summer now.
Yeah.
It's no longer hot girl summer. So.
Yeah, and like we were talking about that full moon, like a lot of people, even people who don't necessarily like follow astrology that closely, even same with like this Venus retrograde, what's going on with Chiron, all these other planets in retrograde, like people are really feeling it right now. At this time, it seems like so many people are struggling, like with family issues, with accidents happening, just really horrible things. But at the same time, there's also people having babies, getting married, getting engaged.
There's great news.
So it's like just a very intense time. And I think truly how you respond to it is going to be your specific chart. Melissa, I know, is rolling her eyes right now as I'm talking about this, but that's okay.
Not an astrologer.
But yeah, so just saying that, like, if you feel a certain way, but your friend's doing something completely different, your charts are probably different. It's affecting you differently.
Yeah. And retrogrades are not always a bad thing.
No, if you have it,
they are a. I personally like to view retrogrades as a journey. It's a lesson. I know that at the end of this retrograde, I will learn something that I didn't know at the beginning of this retrograde. So it totally depends on your mindset. When my friends are like, "Oh my God, Mercury's in retrograde," it's how you view it that will let you go with the energy. And of course, go with the flow of the energy. When things aren't so hot, things are spicy, things are passionate, however it may be, go with the flow of that energy and don't fight against it, and that will definitely change how things go for you.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, especially because like
your ancestors are here with you.
They really are. I would say too, as far as like retrogrades and stuff go, the reason people don't like them is because it forces you to look inward, and we don't have control. People don't really love shadow work. That's kind of my jam. I teach the shadow work class here at Goddess Elite, as well as just like that's a huge part of my practice. So anyway, the point being, retrograde, it's not necessarily negative. If your relationship is struggling during Venus retrograde, there was a cracked foundation to begin with. So it's not like this perfect relationship is all of a sudden going to crumble down. You are being forced to see the problems, and you're either going to fix them and come out stronger, or you're going to go your separate ways. So if you broke up, you weren't meant to be.
And don't feel bad about it.
Don't feel guilty. This is that time to be, really experience that freedom.
That's so funny that we're doing protection during such retrogrades, because I definitely feel the need to put like a lot of protection on during Venus retrograde, because of course, as you guys know, I'm a love witch. Love magic is my thing. But when love goes wrong, it is definitely a questionable case, and it definitely hits me a lot harder than like a lot of things, because love's my thing, and when love doesn't work out in my way, it kind of breaks your soul a little bit.
Yeah, I totally. And it's so funny too how when you start to get disconnected from your own, like what your core values are as far as magic and witchcraft goes, you really feel it in all other areas of your life. Like, so for Venus here, it's like love, it's money, it's like the things that fill you up and give you pleasure. And so when they are not feeling that, that really affects them more than maybe me, who that isn't like my main thing. But for me, I'm big on digging deep and being very self-aware and being very intentional about the things I say and do and how I spend my time. When I'm just floating through life and not taking a look at the deeper things that are going on, I'm very dissatisfied. So really take a look at your own values. And like protection too, it's very broad in the sense like we could be protecting from negativity. Sometimes we are the negativity. Sometimes you need that black tourmaline ring to get your thoughts straight. Get those intrusive thoughts out of here.
That's actually, funny enough, that's the reason why I got my black tourmaline and amethyst necklace, because I'm a Gemini moon. I'm a very overthinker. I overanalyze everything. I am always stuck in my head. But I find when I have black tourmaline, it helps to calm down the thoughts. And I'm not saying that black tourmaline crystals will help you with your mental illnesses.
Right,
That's
always along
But-
with Western medicine or like a
Of course,
professional,
go
we have
with
to
things.
say
But
that.
as someone with dissociative identity disorder, I do find that black tourmaline helps me with the communication between me and my system a little bit more. And I know with some other friends, especially those with a lot of overthinking, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, I find that they really thrive with certain crystals, especially hematite. I recommend that for all of my friends who are down in the dumps or having a seasonal depression or whatever it may be, as it's a really nice grounding stone and it will bring them back to themselves. And once you're grounded, it's a lot easier to find or figure out what exactly is wrong. So of course, as you guys know, when Venus went retrograde, love, money, magic, and manifestations are my thing. And when the retrograde happened, things went out of whack, and it took me a little bit of time to sit down and realize, like, hey, maybe this is what's causing it. This is things that need to change. And protection was definitely a big important thing for me. I'm so glad that we were doing this today.
Me too.
because
I feel so good. I wish you
feel
could
so
feel
much
that.
better.
I mean, I don't know. Comment. Let us know. Do you feel
Feel the
energetically?
energy?
Do you feel it, or do you just hear us talking? Because, honestly, though, it does like. There's nothing better than feeling safe. If I feel safe, then I can thrive. If I feel safe, then I can focus on the other areas of my life. Maybe that is why I'm so big on like the protection aspect, just because I can't focus on anything else until I know like I'm good.
I definitely agree.
Home protection. So just, we're talking about this because they are charging right now in this
Of
little
course.
bowl. So we are like still enchanting these items and just kind of sharing some info along the way. Personally, I think I have mentioned this on another live, but home protection is really the thing I'm so big on. So one of the things would be like making some witches spells, putting that on your front door. So
Ooh, or prosperity pots on your stove.
yeah, I like that. Simmer pots are great. I have a railroad spike in
While you
each
do that,
corner of my home. Go ahead, yeah.
While you do that, I'm going to be enchanting the in-store jewelry that we mentioned earlier. Of course, I'm just going to cleanse them. So, as you know, I personally like cleansing in flame, so that would be my thing. But I will cleanse in smoke for those of you guys who know. For those of you who like little protection sigils, you don't need to make a sigil or anything for protection. The pentagram little circle is a symbol of protection, and I personally like to draw that when I'm enchanting things. I also, when I make tea in the morning or when I make coffee, I will draw that and I
Same.
will circle it in
The honey.
Yeah, in my honey.
That's
and
what I
will
do.
go in a clockwise motion for protection, and then I do counterclockwise for banishing things.
Yeah, totally love that concept too. So drawing the protection, you can also use like runes and stuff like that. If you don't really feel like sigils call to you that much, you don't have to use any
Yeah,
of
you don't
that.
have to use any of them.
We're just kind of trying to give you like that base knowledge because this is something that people come in asking about all the time. So that's kind of what we like to do with these lives. It's like these are questions that we get asked often in the store. These are things that we personally practice. So like if there are certain topics that you would like to know about that we have not touched on, let
Feel
us
free
know.
to ask about them.
We are here for you all. We want to help. Both of us have Gemini placements. We could talk forever. Like, really, we could.
Witchcraft is my hyperfixation, so I truly could talk about this for hours if need be. Like, I love the idea of having my own. Witchcraft allows me to take a bit of control
Yes.
in my life, and how I see things and how I feel about things, and especially as someone who. I'm big on risk. I like traveling. I like going out. I like trying new things. Protection is a big backing to those things. And I feel like, especially as a beginner witch, if any of you guys are beginner witches, protection is the number one thing that I think you should always do. And I think you should be 100%
First things first.
stable on your protection before you get into anything.
Learn how to protect yourself. Learn how to ground. Those are the two things that you. And cleansing. The three things. Those are the three things you need to know how to do. Yeah, that's awesome. I love hearing like someone else explain it too, just because it's very interesting.
Especially because of the magic that I do. I do love magic. You know that love magic can range. A lot of people do not like it because they believe it messes with free will. I personally will not do magic unless I have the consent of the other person. But there have been times there have been moments where sometimes consent is not okay, and I have not received it, but I have still done it. But the important aspect behind it is the protection that you do behind it, especially when I do spells for other people. Protection is the number one basis. Love magic, money magic, manifestation magic, any magic where you are putting energy out towards other people, it can backfire. It will backfire big. If you guys have seen my love magic live stream, I constantly talk about how I will not tell you how to do certain spells, like obsession spells, binding spells. I love them. Me personally, I've done a couple, maybe more than a couple in my life. But I have also had the experiences of them backfiring, and I have also had the experience to know that protection is the number one thing. Like, yes, of course, you should cleanse all of your items, but protection,
yes,
number one.
Also, just in general, if you're sensitive. So that is a whole other line of this that we haven't even gotten
That
into.
is so true.
So me, myself, I don't necessarily call myself a medium yet because it just does it whenever it wants. So I don't have complete control over that yet, but the dead do like to talk to me. Lori, if you're still listening, you understand what that's like. I've definitely been, really working on that journey and just having spirit come through. That being said, that did not start happening until I started protecting myself. The universe wants to make sure you are safe too. We always have that safety net under us. Sometimes we get frustrated when things aren't happening fast enough, but we aren't doing what we're supposed to be doing. I learned how to protect myself from spirit. Now they're popping up.
Now that I think about it, I will protect this.
Yeah, might as well. You're like, also too, for any mom witches out there, or dads, sorry, or non-binary, parental witches. Thank you. Yes, parental witches. It is, first of all, awesome just to get, like, for protection magic for your children. Certain necklace bracelets are going back to school. You want to make sure they're safe when you don't have them with you. That's a great way to do it. The snap bracelets are all obsessed with. One of those would be just fine. Keychain on their book bag, something like that. But my son, so he is 6. I'm going to keep his name to myself just so I don't blast him out there. But he has started to tell me that... Imagine this. So first he always said he had like bad dreams and stuff, okay? But then he also would tell me about gray hands touching him and everything. Then the other night he was like, I made him scary go away spray. And he sprays around his bed and he goes, yeah, that's to keep like the bad dreams out. And I was like, well, bad dreams don't necessarily cross the border of your bed to get there. They happen in your brain. Like, well, he goes, no, like, so they don't touch me because like the bad dreams just show up and they're just around my bed. And I'm like, you're not talking about a dream. That's not a dream. So the protection magic around my home, like I said, very serious for me. Making little charms for him to have in his room and also just teaching him how to protect himself in general. But so yeah, if you have sensitive children or if you yourself are sensitive and your abilities are just opening up, it is so important to protect yourself. I always get upset, not upset, that's not the right word, but it's always disappointing to me when I see a developing medium or maybe children who have that gift and they're so scared and disempowered. Because of it. Yes, and it really is a gift. So just learning how to control that, learning, different ways to protect yourself from that, different enchantments you can do as far as the jewelry goes. Jewelry is kind of a good fail safe.
Another thing that I like to do for protection is I like to make little spell jars for protection.
Yes.
Using these herbs and using all of the stuff that we have here today, I like to put those in our little spell jars, and I like to seal them with the black wax, and I like to keep them on me. I personally keep spell jars in my backpacks and in my purses. I have a money one for my wallet. I have protection for my backpack. I have a protection for travel for my car. So it totally just depends on what your purpose for it and what your intention is behind it. But it is really simple. It is really easy. You do not have to enchant your jewelry.
We have tons of books too. Like I have to say, tons of books on spell jars. You've got the crystal chips. We have herbs. You can even put a little hook in them, wear it as a necklace. Putting it around your car mirror, like Ash was talking about. Ton of stuff. And of course, as you know, there are certain crystals that go with protection. We don't have any here with us, but Tiger's Eye is a really good grounding and protection crystal. I
use it as travel purposes because I think it is a really good. I infuse mine with the intention of protecting my leisure travel. I love going long distances. I love getting plane rides. I like going out of the country. I think that is another really good protection thing to bring with you. Normally, I have a tiger's eye necklace that I keep around my car that I charge with, and what I do is I will take my tiger's eye after I've cleansed it in the smoke, and I will go around my car 7 times, and I will say and speak protection affirmations and enchantments your way, and hello.
Hello, how are you?
And I also will do the same for my dorm room and for my house. In my dorm room, I keep black tourmaline and I keep selenite above my door frame to prevent negative energy from coming into my room. It has worked. I have noticed that certain people will not cross the thresholds of my room.
That's always funny.
It will tell me the things that I need to know.
Yeah, they tell on themselves
They do.
real quick after that.
And another protection thing that I like to do is mirrors.
Ooh,
Mirrors,
yeah.
locking them are very important. People will tell you that you shouldn't sleep with mirrors by your bed, that you shouldn't sleep with mirrors facing you. As a glamour and love magic witch, I love mirrors. I love using them for glamour magic and enchanting purposes. Is it possible to enchant? Yes, of course. You can always enhance dirt or sand with protection. We sell black tourmaline sand.
Yeah.
Actually, and you can use that as the base. You don't have to use salt, of course. It's all about what you infuse with your protection. So if you want to get dirt and you want to infuse it with the intention of protection, you can do that.
Yeah, if you think about it, I mean, first of all, there's plenty of minerals and stuff in the dirt to begin with.
True.
It's also from Mother Earth, so I can't really think of a lot more protective stuff than that.
That's true.
That being said, graveyard dirt, if you are not well versed in the ethics and also like etiquette, because there is etiquette, but like just don't take that unless you know what you're doing, but just like probably don't. Like that's my thought.
Exactly. I feel like I've only ever gotten graveyard dirt once.
I'll do it for my
You have to
ancestors,
do- yes,
and I'm
your
asking
ancestors.
permission.
And even
you gotta
then,
leave something.
It's offerings. You gotta leave an offering at the
Yeah.
at the door at the gate of the graveyard.
Also,
that is for the spirits,
I don't know why I feel the need to say this because I don't know if there's somebody listening who's going to do this or not. But when they say to offer your spit, okay, first of all,
Be careful.
that's gonna like bind you to them a little bit. Also, do not literally spit onto the ground onto their grave. I watched somebody do that at a cemetery. She's very clearly a witch, and it's like good for you. But like when you're offering your spit, you would literally like this is kind of gross. Sorry, but bodily fluids, whatever. But you would take it and literally like put it there, like or put it in something and give it. Do not spit on somebody's grave as an offering. It's not gonna go how you want.
Also, please be careful of where you get your graveyard dirt from. Do not go steal it from some random graveyard. Go for your ancestors. Go for a friend. Communicate about it. Talk about it.
Yeah.
But back to your question of enhancing dirt or sand with protection. To begin, Starmax. Listen to me. I know you. Don't do it. If you need some, please ask. Get some from our stores. And we sell protection sand or dirt. We will help you.
Also, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, great. But if you are gonna do it yourself, a nice way that I like to make protection salt or my black salt. If I don't have charcoal, I will use the incense ash that I make. So I will burn protection incense. Of course, as you know, we have some, and the incense that burns, I will mix that in with my dirt or my sand or my salt or whatever I'm doing. And that is how I will infuse the intention into what I am making. But once again, I also own black tourmaline salt.
Yeah.
So I like to use that.
Yeah, I'm big on like bonfires too. So like taking ash and so charcoal from your bonfires, putting herbs for protection in your bonfires. If you think about how the smoke travels all around your property, pretty much, you're gonna say like, okay, that protection's spreading out. Side note too, it's awesome. Side note too about what you said about travel and protection for travel. Comfrey root and comfrey leaf is excellent for protection while traveling. Definitely would recommend that one.
I keep comfrey root on me ever since.
Yep, just in case. So that's a good thing to keep like in your car. Also like a railroad spike in your car. I think I said this last slide. Great for protection spiritually, and then also they're pretty sharp and heavy. So could also be like a self-defense thing if need be, huh? So I also want to talk about a couple of these beaded bracelets we have. So some of those black crystals that we talked about that are protective. We also have like the beaded bracelets from them. So like the jewelry we're showing you is all sterling silver jewelry, which is awesome because you don't have to take it off. It won't tarnish. You can do dishes, shower, whatever you want.
Yep.
That being said, if you're looking for something between the $10 to $20 range, maybe you're a little college student or something like that, and so you're on a budget, you can get one of the beaded bracelets and it will do the same thing. And you could trim it just the same exact way.
I love my bracelets.
I normally have one on, but I don't today. But
that's about I do have my little black.
Yeah.
My little onyx, and then I have like a lava stone and protection. Make sure you have
very
it.
Good. Yeah, so that's like, and it is so personal. So that's really why I like doing lives with other people, is because we have like stuff to add,
And funny enough, you don't just have to enchant jewelry. I enchant my glasses. The ones that I wear, I enchant them. I enchant them. I enchant them.
No, I see through people's
to
stuff.
give me the intention to show people's true feelings towards me, or how their true intentions towards me. I enchant my glasses with that, and I enchant my intentions with the intention to show me the hidden opportunities and perspectives that I do not see when I am just, because sometimes you're mad focused on one thing.
Why did I never think? I've been wearing glasses my whole life. I never thought to do that.
Because it also just depends on the jewelry. So like my heart earrings, they are enchanted with love, magic, of course. Their hearts,
No, to plan out my garden. I will say too, salt, not good for the earth.
No.
Don't do that. So like if you're gonna put like a circle around you, let's say you're doing some workings outside, eggshell powder, much better. Something
but that
like
black
that.
tourmaline sand
that would be okay.
That's a great idea.
But just like not actual, like if you were to mix something with salt, that will
Yeah.
kill the ground for like a long time, and it'll kind of, Mother Earth won't be happy. So just don't do that.
If you do accidentally put salt on your dirt or in your garden, you can of course pick it up and you can replace it with eggshells, calcium, to help fix the damage you have done to your garden. I have learned from personal experience.
Yeah, well, because unfortunately, like, I love that witchcraft has taken off the way that it has. I love that people are really opening up spiritually. The only issue with that is like sometimes there is misinformation, and so when you're following someone that you're trusting who says like, "Oh, do a circle of salt protection around you," they don't give you that disclaimer. You don't think twice about it. So I mean, it happens. I'm not judging you for doing it, but just if no one has told you before, not great for the earth. Yeah.
It is. And another thing on that topic, because I too am a big fan of how witchcraft is like taking off, I think it is definitely a big step into taking your own power.
Yeah.
Spirituality is not so strong, and especially with things being crazy today. Research. We work at a witchcraft store.
Yeah.
Do not just take everything that we are telling you.
And what we say might be different from what someone else
Exactly.
says, and you take what is most true for you. So we are not
Take
coming
what
at you as an
resonates.
authority or as like somebody above you as far as knowledge goes. We're just like sharing our personal practice, and then if you wanted to share your practice back in the comments, or next slide, like let us know what you do.
There are different practices. So as I mentioned earlier, I personally am not a voodoo practitioner. I am, however, obsessed with the idea of voodoo. It is something that my ancestors and my family have worked with. It is something that they practice. So of course, each practice is different. Some of the herbs that I used here, I probably wouldn't use in a hoodoo ritual, or some people wouldn't use it in a voodoo ritual. There's also Santeria, Brujeria. There are so many different practices that have different things.
Yes.
Some of the herbs that we use today and other practices are used for something completely different.
Right.
So also keep in mind that different plants, different colors, each different cultures, they have different correspondence to things. So just because you see us using things here, it does not mean that your practice is wrong. It doesn't mean that somebody else's practice is wrong. Each practice has their own different things. It's all about how you research and what you practice.
And that's just like the most beautiful thing about it, is that there's no wrong way to do it. So if we wanted to follow a bunch of rules, I'm not going to finish my sentence, but you know what I'm thinking, okay? I'm just saying that we want to have the power within ourselves. So while Ash is like super knowledgeable on that stuff, like I tend to err more towards like folk magic, And then, like I said, like the shadow work stuff like that, sometimes like Slavic paganism.
I like that.
But then I also really work with like the Egyptian pantheon the most. So calling on some deities too to help protect you would be great. Like I work with Isis, well, her Egyptian name is Aset, and Sekhmet. You need someone to protect you. Those girlies will, they will come running. But yeah, so just like building that relationship with deities.
And for those of you guys, so Egyptian deities are currently my interest. I think they will be who I desire to work with next, but I do like Greek deities. I personally really love Persephone and Hades. I think they are two people who I definitely channel when I try to do protection magic, or especially when I'm doing shadow work. Those are my two go-tos. But of course, there are other deities. I love Egyptian deities. I personally, when I do love and protection magic, I channel Lilith.
Yeah, we did. We talked about her. We love her.
I love Lilith for all of that. Anything that has to do with protection or the divine feminine, call upon her. And of course, you don't have to call upon your deities. I will always call upon my ancestors.
And also, I want to just say this really quick too. If you see, so you say benevolent ancestors. I love that.
I specify.
I say like, which I don't in that, in like the one I said before, just because they know who I'm talking to at this point. But like, if I'm just kind of calling out to them in general, and this is what I recommend to other people, because they say work with your ancestors, and they're like,
but sometimes all of your ancestors do not have your best intentions.
Yeah. So I say at least my ancestors who lived and died well. So meaning the ones who lived well in a way that I agree with, who died like in a noble way, I guess. Or and I think I got that from a book called Healing Ancestral Karma by Stephen Farmer. I think that's cool. Yeah. Probably.
I personally call out for benevolent because, of course, there are people. Sometimes your ancestors do not have your best way of heart, and of course, generational curses and generational trauma. It doesn't. Sometimes your ancestors may not want to see you winning. You should specify. I always call out for my benevolent ancestors when I'm doing work like prosperity or love or something positive. But if I'm doing a banishment or a hexing or anything, of course I will be like, my benevolent ancestors. I mean, I talk to you guys much.
But it's so true because if you think about it, like let's say Great Aunt Mary hated your mom, okay, and then you're gonna call her to help you out, like that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, you have to realize that they live their lives and they have their beliefs and everything.
Also, you didn't have to know them. That is like really important. So one of my spirit guides and also the ancestor I probably work with the most is my great grandma, and her name was Christina. She was a Slovakian. She didn't call herself a witch, but she was straight up a witch. Like had abilities and stuff. But anyway, I actually never met her in life, and she's around all the time. I've had like plenty of readers confirm that, and then I just know for myself. So like, don't think just because you didn't have a relationship in life with those people that they wouldn't be there for you, especially if you have children now, or just like in general, your family members. You're going to want to help. If someone 3 generations down the line calls on you, you're going to want to help.
Yeah, you're going to be there.
Yeah, so just like don't think, you have to have this whole relationship with them while they're living.
Yeah, of course, you don't have to know them. A lot of people, when you get into when people ask me about ancestry and how I get into it, I think that one of the first main steps that I tell people is to, write out your family tree, write who you know, get ancestry done and see who you don't know. And then that's how you start over altars. My main ancestor is, of course, she's my grandmother too, actually. And of course, I knew her and loved her. She raised me. But I find that some of her grandparents, they are always by my side in any choosing. Of course, I've never met them, but they're like your blood.
They're like, yeah, I got you, girl. Don't worry. The other thing too is like with the family tree and stuff. Let me make sure I'm saying this in a way that respects everybody involved. Okay, so when I started to work with my ancestors and really dig into family history, the thing that nobody wants to talk about, probably where you need to go and start uncovering and figuring out what's going on. I know we kind of went in like on an ancestor tangent, but it's because I see protection and ancestral worship as one and the same. They're offering that to you. There is no stronger, like think about like a mother's love or familial love. Like there's no stronger protection than that.
And I do also want to include that it doesn't just necessarily have to be your ancestors. Family, friends, pets, your familiars, they come, and the pets that you love. I like to see. I know that the ones that I have had, they stand by my side,
my
even though they're no
Stewie.
longer with me here.
Stewie's around.
And
My
you'll
little black
see,
cat.
yeah, you can see my little black cat.
Yeah,
too.
was he really?
That's my cat too. That's so cute. Like they're
Why are we
around, and
learning
you can
so much
definitely
stuff?
see them.
Yeah. I think they call it too, like, I hope I'm saying this right, but I think it's like ancestors of the blood is like your family. Ancestors of the heart is people that you loved, had a really good relationship with.
And that
yeah, but maybe aren't your family. And then there's ancestors of the spirit. So those are mentors. People that taught you throughout your life and then maybe passed away, but you have that spiritual connection. So, and that would be a familiar, I guess, too, probably would be heart and spirit. But so it doesn't have to be somebody in your blood. It's really just people who want to see you win, who are backing you up. They got nothing else to do, kind of like, I'm just saying. That's
and
what I would do.
sometimes, I find that some of my ancestors, sometimes they just are meant to teach me a lesson in life. Like when it comes to like protection and things, sometimes they're not there to be nice to me. Sometimes they'll be like, you're here to work on this curse, you're breaking it.
Yeah. Mine tells me, she doesn't always, like my great grandma, you think she'd take my side?
She's not
no. No, she doesn't. But I think we're kind of at a stopping point. I'm going to give it a couple seconds if anybody has any questions or wants to see any jewelry or anything like that. But if not, we're probably going to hop off and make sure I'm not missing comments or lighting my hair on fire.
You're totally fine. And when it comes to taking your crystals out of the enchantment, just put them back on. I enchanted my jewelry box personally when I'm on my campus with my herbs and everything, and I personally just put my jewelry back in at the end of the day to recharge them. But you don't have to. Don't feel rushed. You charge your crystals once.
You could literally, if there's sterling silver, every time I wash my hands, I'm cleansing my crystals too. Cleansing my rings. Like, whatever works for you.
And it's all about your energy. Like, if you burn an incense, run it over yourself.
Yep.
Cleanse your energy. Cleanse your crystals. Cleanse your... You're
not
going to
spiritual
lose
hygiene.
your enchantments.
Spiritual hygiene.
Facts.
And then that's a good point too. Just because you cleanse your energy doesn't mean like, oh, now that I
lost
cleanse
your
it.
enchantments.
No, your intention was to cleanse any energy it picked up and not cleanse it from its initial purpose.
Yes.
So I wouldn't worry so much about that. It doesn't look like anybody has any questions. I want to thank everyone so much.
I had so much fun.
Yeah, and I think this might be kind of a Friday thing. I do think, and now I'll have to double check with Melissa, but I do think we might be moving it to 1 o'clock
Yes,
because Venus can make it from school. So we're going to probably switch the time over. Oh, yeah, of course. And, if you ever, too, wanted to, like, schedule a reading or something with one of our readers, I personally am a reader here. We have a ton of other ones. You can always schedule via Zoom.
And if you guys are interested in someone dressing your candles or things like that, we do those here. Not all of us, but I know some of us. Sometimes we do have candles that we dress and we sell in store.
Yeah.
We also have events in which we do certain things.
I have to actually, now that you said that,
Yes,
plugging this really quick. Wine and spirits. It used to be a John Chris winery. We moved it over to the VFW in Elyria, Ohio. Support our veterans. So, yeah.
All of our information can be found on our social medias. You can find it on our Facebook. I believe it is also on our Instagram as well.
Ton of psychics, like a ton of them.
It will be.
The Ghost Whisperer will be there. Like,
and
just arrive.
If you wish to see us, we will also be
there.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, thank you all so much for listening and letting us talk at you and hang out. Again, if you have any questions, just shoot us a message. I think it's called a Whisper on Twitch. I don't really know. But anyway, there's a way. Just come in contact with us. If you have ideas for another live, let us know because we're always open to hearing them.
And of course, we have our social medias. We have Instagram, Facebook, Twitch. We also have TikTok and more. So if you guys want to leave a comment or you guys want to DM us with any ideas that you have, please feel free. If you want Emily or I to specifically make a live stream video or topic, you can ask for us specifically.
Yep.
And we would love to.
And lastly, we have the online store. For those who weren't there in the beginning, a lot of the jewelry we enchanted will be on there, but also other jewelry that you could use for protection purposes, along with the candles and crystals and a bunch of other stuff. Or we have the physical store in North Olmsted. But with that, I think we are going to sign off. So thank you everyone so much. Blessed be and stay safe out there. Bye-bye.
Will you end this one?